So the first type of content is what most of us think of when we think of pornography. And it's in the first picture here. It's called harmful to minors content or indecency. This is the softcore type of material that is protected speech for people over 18, consenting adults, but not for those under 18 or 17, depending on the state. Now, what would that be? That would be the Playboy Penthouse type of content, right? In the 1990s, by the way, I've been involved in this issue since 1994, since right before the internet was taking off. We discovered hardcore pornography, not just softcore, but the hardcore stuff I'm going to cover in just a minute, and child pornography surfacing on the pre-internet. This was before email, this was before search engines, this was as the World Wide Web was being developed. And in fact, I got a chance to go to MIT and talk to the guys who were developing code to develop the web. And we saw this starting to happen and we went, oh my goodness, we've got a problem here. So we went to Congress and launched the first piece of legislation to try to extend the laws that protect children from all types of content harmful to minors and hardcore and child pornography and everything else to this new medium called the internet. Because it was a brand new medium and the laws didn't apply, right? And so that was the children's, it's called the CDA, and it passed overwhelmingly by the Senate, and also we got it passed by the House. It was bipartisan. We also extended some other laws, made it a crime for sexual predators to use the internet to approach kids, to have sexual contact with them, and all of this. Now, you know, this sounds like, well, that would just be a no-brainer, right? But it wasn't. We had to actually get these laws on the books. But what happened was the Supreme Court actually challenged, the ACLU challenged the harmful to minors part of that law, and it was enjoined, and the Supreme Court struck it down. So what does that mean? That means that there was actually no barrier to prevent kids from getting that type of content. So a 12-year-old child cannot go get a Playboy or a Penthouse magazine or an X-rated video, right? Because of what? The harmful to minors or the indecency laws, but on the internet they can get all of that. Because we didn't get that law did not withstand a Supreme Court challenge. Congress went back again. We did another law, the COPA. I was also very involved in that. That went back and forth between the Supreme Court and the lower court, and it was never upheld. So we do not have any kind of law that protects kids from that type of content. But what's even worse is that there is another type of content which is the new normal on the internet, and it is called obscenity under the law, right? That's what the name of the law is, and it's obscenity. This type of content is hardcore, graphic. It can be any type of sex act being depicted. It can also be more deviant and extreme types of content like bestiality, excretory pornography, rape, violence, that type of content. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think that's protected speech under the First Amendment? Okay, raise your hand if you think that that's protected speech. Okay, we've got one. Anybody? Okay, raise your hand if you don't think it's protected speech. Okay, you're right. It's not protected speech. However, that content is the majority of the content that is on the internet. And who has access to it? Everybody. Everybody's got access to it. It's not even protected for adults. Okay, so why do you think it's out there? It's not legal. So why would it be there? Money. Who said enforcement? Enforcement. Yeah. The federal obscenity laws in the United States, and the United States is one of the top producers of this content worldwide, have not been aggressively enforced since the advent of the internet. Okay? Now, except I will say for a brief time under Attorney General Ashcroft, under Bush II, I think it was. and then not at all in the next administration. And so here we are. The Pandora's box was open and it's never been put back in. So kids have access to all of this kind of content. The third type of content is called child pornography or child sex abuse images, and I just described that to you. This is also not protected speech. And so the majority of law enforcement dollars have been and continue to go to the enforcement of the child pornography laws and also the sexual predation laws and the sex trafficking laws. Does that make sense? So you're getting an idea of the landscape and why we've got a real problem. All right.